welcome to the class. And today we're gonna talk about all the basics, about all the poses that usually yoga class includes. So it can be refreshing if you've been practicing for a while, or it can help you to get there if you just started recently. And we'll begin in Shavasana, one of my favorite poses. So we're gonna lie down on our back. Just get comfortable. The whole idea of this pose is to relax. Maybe try to occupy a little bit more space between your legs. Occupy more space on the mat. Open up your palms towards the ceiling. Let your knees and ankles drop to the sides. And then allow your eyes to close. Begin to relax your body. Starting with the toes. Relax each toe individually. And relax the tops of your feet, your heels, your ankles. Relax your shins and calves, your knees and thighs. Feel your thighs heavy. Relax your glutes and pelvic area. Feel your belly soft. Relax your lower back. Relax your fingers, each finger individually, without moving any part of your body. Try to stay still. Relax your palms, tops of your hands, your wrists and forearms. Relax your elbows and shoulders, your chest, your mid and upper back. Relax your collarbones and your neck. Relax your throat. Let your jaw drop, maybe slightly open up your mouth. Relax your facial muscles. Let your tongue sink to the bottom. Feel your eyelids heavy. Relax your ears, your forehead, your scalp, and finally the crown of your head. And set your intention for the practice. Try to stay present throughout the class. Try to observe your breathing during the practice. And try to let go of any expectations. Simply breathe. For a yoga practice, we usually activate the belly breathing when we inhale through the nose, filling up the lungs and the belly. And when we exhale, we're emptying out the lungs and the belly. We're breathing through the nose unless I tell you to breathe in another way. You can also activate Ujjayi breathing by contracting your throat, the back of your throat, creating a hissing-like sound. although it is totally optional, and you can stick to the belly breathing. So take one more big inhale. With exhale, open up your eyes, wiggle your fingers and toes. Roll the back of your head side to side. Reach your arms over the head, point your toes. A nice good morning stretch, even if it's not morning, it still feels pretty good. And with exhale, release, bend your knees, bring them to the chest, give your knees a hug and rock side to side. I usually include this pose to all of my classes because it feels really good, and this massage that you can give to yourself feels pretty good for your back and the lower back and the spine, so you can do it during the day, maybe when you feel tight in your back. And slow that down. Open up your arms like a T. Drop your knees to the right for spinal twist. Well, today I'm going to practice just very basic, very simple variations. However, if you already know that, for example, in this pose you want to cactus your arms, you want to grab your foot and extend one leg, go ahead and do so. But I will be demonstrating the very basic variations of these poses. So gaze left to deepen the twist. And again, keep breathing through the belly. When we are twisted, we have the tendency to hold our breath when it's actually not necessary, and we need to keep breathing because spinal twists have this detoxifying effect. They're kind of like squeezing out all the toxins from your system, from your organs. So it's important to keep providing oxygen to your organs. With your next inhale, bring your knees back to the center and drop them to the left. Now this time gaze right. Try to glue your shoulder blades down to the floor as well as your shoulders. Sometimes there are different variations, but for today just focus on the twist itself. Focus on your spine. Maybe close down your eyes. Whenever we're holding the postures, this is another thing you can do to stay more present and focused. I like to keep my eyes closed so I can feel my body better. I can notice even very mild sensations that arise due to the practice, due to the pose. So again, keep breathing through your belly. Keep your shoulders on the floor. Enjoy the twists. The spinal twists are so beneficial for our health, not only for the spine but also for the nervous system. They have very calming effect, and you can notice that right away, especially if you breathe deeply. And again, inhale, come back to the center. Now this time, place your hands, bring your left foot to the floor. We're gonna practice one of the variations of a pigeon pose. So keep the left foot on the floor and then place your right ankle on the left thigh. It's kind of like a figure 4 pose. So we want to open up that right hip, that right knee. So if it's curling back, try to resist that, but not forcing anything too much. And from here, you can stay right there if you already feel it. But if you want to go further, then bring your knee to the chest, and You can take your hands to the back of your thigh, flex your feet, and keep pulling the left knee to the chest and opening the right hip and the right knee. Keep your left shin parallel to the floor. Relax your shoulders. And here's another variation. If you want to go further, if this is not enough for your right hip, you can take your hands outside of the knee. And again, pull it to the chest a little closer. Wherever you are, keep flexing your feet to protect your knees. Keep opening the right knee. Make sure your chest, your shoulders and neck are relaxed. And focus on the right hip, on the right thigh. Send in there your exhalation. This is another thing we often neglect during our practice. We want to use our breathing. We want to engage our breathing in our practice by gathering all the tension with inhale and letting it go with exhale. Or another way to use your breath as an assist, self-assist, you can visualize how you're breathing in prana into that spot. Right now it's probably your right thigh, into that spot where you have the most tension, and on the exhale you can visualize that tension leaving your body. If you keep practicing that, you will notice how eventually your body is surrendering to the pose instead of resisting. How you can simply relax and your body feels like melting down into the pose. And release that. Extend your left leg. Grab your right knee and pull it to the chest. Draw a few circles with the right knee. With the right ankle. Switch the direction. Maybe even point and flex your toes and your foot. Then grab the knee and open up your hip. Just to warm it up. Bring your awareness to the right hip and inner thigh. And come back to the center. Re-extend. No. This time we're going to do a pigeon pose again. So bring the right foot to the floor. Bend the left knee and place your left ankle on the right thigh. Flex both feet and pull your knee to the chest. Maybe bring your hands to the back of your right thigh or outside of your knee. Relax your shoulders. Keep your right shin parallel to the floor. Deep breathing here. Keep opening the left knee. It will engage your thigh even more. Breathing is so essential to our practice. So there are some poses, some practices when we use breath retention, but normally, unless the yoga teacher says so, we don't want to hold our breath. There are also certain pranayamas or breathing techniques when we use breath retention, but most of the time we want to breathe deeply throughout the practice. Remember to keep opening the left knee. Just a couple of more breaths here. And re-extend the right leg. Pull your left knee to the chest. Keep your hands outside of the knee. Then draw circles with your left ankle. switch the direction. Then maybe flex and point your toes, your foot. And open up your left hip, grab your knee. Again, try to relax here, relax your left inner thigh. Breathing through that spot. Delivering oxygen and prana into your inner thigh, into your hip. Come back to the center, bend both of your knees, bring them to your chest, and take your hands to the back of your thighs. We're gonna rock back and forth to massage our spine. Maybe also activate your core here to come up. And then finally come into a seated pose, or we call it Sukhasana. You can sit with your ankles crossed or maybe your shins crossed, whatever is more comfortable. You can always sit down on a block, place it underneath your sitting bones, and it makes it more comfortable. You can place blocks under your thighs or under your knees if you have knee issues. That also makes it more comfortable. You can spend more time in this pose, especially if you are practicing different meditations or pranayamas. It's nice to use props like blocks. I usually do my pranayama on a block so I can sit in this position for 15 minutes without being disturbed. So stay here in Sukhasana or cross-legged position. And from here we're gonna start warming our neck. Drop your head forward. Interlace your fingers and place your hands to the back of your head. Now here it's important to let your elbows drop. So you're not pressing with your hands. You're simply allowing the weight of your hands to stretch the back of your neck. And breathe, of course, breathe through the back of your neck to release that tightness, that stiffness that we all have in there. And keep your fingers in released, but this time drop your head back and place your hands underneath your chin. Stretching the front of your neck. Exhale and release. Drop your left ear towards the left shoulder. You can stay here or maybe place your left hand on the right temple. Your fingers on the temple and the palm of your hand on the side of your head. We're stretching the right side of the neck. Sending there inhalation and exhalation. Slowly release and drop your right ear towards the right shoulder. Again, stay here if you want it, or use your hand to go a little further. Another essential part of our practice is ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-violence or non-harming. If you feel like you're getting too intense, the pose is getting too intense that you may hurt yourself or injure yourself, just back up and maybe release, maybe take a break. We don't want to injure ourselves. Yoga is more about self-love than self-torturing. So release here. And now A few times we're gonna drop our chin forward and back. Breathing and warming up our neck. Exhale, chin forward. Inhale, chin up and back. At your own pace, with lots of love towards your body, and come back to the center. This time we can do either half circles or full circles with our neck. Again, it depends on how you feel. If your neck is too tight, maybe begin with just half circles. It's better to take baby steps and eventually build your practice than jump cold turkey to the practice and then just injure yourself in the first class. So again, we're practicing self-love. We're practicing ahimsa, or not harming, non-violence. And non-violence begins with ourselves. Of course, we don't want to harm anyone else, but it begins with a self-care, with a self-love. Reverse the direction. Notice how your neck feels as you move. And come back to the center. Now this time we're going to practice cow face pose. If this is not available yet, then maybe stay in a cross-legged position. If you want to try the traditional pose, you can place your left knee on the floor and pull the left heel towards the right hip. Then place your right knee on top. Again, this is optional if you want to stay in Sukhasana, cross-legged position. If you're in this cow face position, then again, make sure your knees are one on top of the other. Right now, right knee is on top, and pull your heels closer to the hips. Okay? Then sit nice and tall and lift your left arm up. Bend your elbow so that your right fingers are almost between your shoulder blades. So we want that left elbow to be in the center of our head. And then wrap your right arm behind your back. You can use a strap here. If clasping your fingers is not happening yet, then you can maybe use a strap or grab your t-shirt. I'm going to show you. You can do that. You can use a strap, or you can simply give yourself a hug, finding your shoulder blades with the fingers. It doesn't matter where you are right now. Yoga is not a sport, and it's not like you need to break some records to get there. We want to focus more on the process. So here in this pose, try to open up your chest, your shoulders. Deep breathe and gazing forward. Take a big inhale. With exhale, slowly begin to bend forward. With inhale, slowly come back up. Release, maybe shake out your arms, your hands, and switch your legs. This time right knee is on the bottom, left knee on top. Again, pull your heels closer to the hips. Lift your right arm up, or maybe give yourself a hug and this time switch the cross of your arms. Right arm up, bend the elbow, wrap grab your left arm behind your back. Maybe again clasp the fingers, grab your t-shirt, grab a strap, whatever works for you. Sit nice and tall. In this position, we don't want any roundness. Maybe you're hugging yourself still. Stay nice and tall. Or if you're in a cross-legged position, also make sure your spine is erect. Take a big inhale. With exhale, bend forward. Relax your neck. Slowly rise up with inhale. Release your arms, shake it out. And come onto your hands and knees for another very popular pose or flow even. We're gonna come into all fours, our hands and knees. We call it tabletop pose. And from this pose you can practice cat and cow flow, which is one of my favorites. I also do it almost every single time during my practice. The cat and cow flow is especially good for your spine, so the first thing in the morning you can do is the cat and cow flow. The cow pose begins by dropping the belly button down and pulling the heart forward. You want to gaze up or forward so you can feel the front of your body stretching. And then with exhale, you're pushing the floor away from you, rounding your back and pulling the belly in, just like a cat. Again, inhale, drop your belly button down. Pull your chest forward, look up or forward. Exhale, rounding. And breathe at your own pace. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. You can practice it at your own pace, as slow or as fast as you want it. I like it to be a little slower so I can feel each vertebra. Cat pose with exhale. And release. Come back to neutral. Keep your spine straight. And just to notice other sensations in our spine, we want to move from side to side. It's another way to warm up your spine. You can pull the left shoulder back and gaze back. Try to see your heels. Come back to the center. Pull your right shoulder back to the right hip bone. Gaze back. A few more times, maybe a little faster. Maybe you can go with the flow, maybe draw some circles, so move in any way that feels good for you this morning or this evening, whenever you're practicing. And again, come back to neutral. We're moving into downward facing dog, which is one of the most popular and famous poses. And sometimes we are practicing for years, but our alignment might be not perfect and it can cause some pain or pressure on our wrists and some other not very pleasant side effects. So tuck your toes under, keep your feet about hip distance apart, lift your hips up and back. It doesn't matter if your heels are on the floor or not. First of all, I want you to focus on the alignment. So you're sending your hips up and back. You're pressing more with your knuckles, not the heels of your palms. This is important. This will help you to prevent that pressure on the wrists. And you gaze between your feet or towards your navel. We want to create a V shape with our body. We want to stretch the whole back side of your body. So again, tuck your chin to the chest, spread your fingers wide, feet hip distance apart. If you want to, if this is a little too much, you can micro bend your knees. Try to keep your spine straight without any roundness. Here we want it to stretch. Chest open. Breathe. And inhale, look out. Shift forward, come into upward dog. Lower your hips, open up your chest. You can maybe lower your knees and point your toes so your shins are on the floor as well. It's important to keep the chest open and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Draw your shoulders away from the ears. Again, notice the front side of your body stretching. So these two poses, downward dog and upward dog, are complementing each other. In the downward dog, we're stretching the back of our body. In the upward dog, we're stretching the front side of the body. That's why in sun salutations, we're practicing both up dog and down dog. Then again, tuck your toes under if they're not already tucked. Lift your hips up and back. With inhale, look forward and walk or step or hop forward, come into forward fold. Here we want to relax the neck and drop the head completely. So you're not holding any tension in the neck. You can grab your ankles if you want to. You can place your hands on the block if you want less intensity. Neck again is completely relaxed. And another popular pose that helps you to relax, maybe between sun salutations or other practices, other flows. You can grab each elbow with the opposite hand. The head is still heavy and the neck is still relaxed. And from here begin to sway side to side. Notice how your lower back feels. Notice all the tension leaving your body. Maybe even visualize it again. Keep breathing. Maybe even if your shoulders are pretty mobile, maybe square your shoulders to the sides of your mat. Slow that down. Now bend your knees, release your arms, and one vertebra at a time. It's important. We don't want to injure anything. One vertebra at a time, rise up. Last thing up is the crown of your head and your chin. And from here, come into Tadasana or mountain pose. It seems to be easy for just standing, but actually if you practice it correctly, you will notice that actually it's activating pretty much everything in your body. So we want to keep our feet again hip distance apart, palms facing the front. Tuck your tail. We don't want this duck tail. So tuck your tail. Pull your shoulders back. Gaze forward. Pull your kneecaps up. Activate your core. Keep your chest and shoulders open. and slightly squeeze your glutes. Arms are also active. You can even feel your biceps and triceps here, so pretty much everything is working here. We're not just standing. Your core is working, your legs are activated, glutes, shoulders, arms, everything. And from here, we're going to practice a few sun salutations. I'm going to demonstrate the traditional one. However, there are many variations of sun salutation, and you can choose the one that works better for you. So step to the top of your mat in Tadasana, pressing all four edges of your feet down into the ground. And with inhale, lift your arms up. If you want to, you can go for a back bend. However, if your lower back doesn't feel quite ready, then avoid that. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Bring your hands to the shins. Pull your chest, your heart forward. Bring your hands down, step back into high plank. Shift forward onto your toes and bend your elbows. This is very intense pose, chaturanga. Maybe drop your knees to the floor, it will be easier. And inhale, come into upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Again, sending your hips up and back. Stay in down dog for a few moments, breathing here. Remember, we want to pull the belly in. We want to gaze between the feet or towards the navel. We want the chest to be completely open. Deep breathing through your hamstrings, through your calves and ankles. Inhale, look out, step or hop forward, flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, arms to the sky, maybe a back bend. And exhale, come back to the center, bring your hands to the heart center. This was sun salutation A. Now we're going to practice sun salutation B, and then I'll show you how to practice a little less intense sun salutation without chaturangas. So sun salutation B begins in a chair pose. So keep your feet maybe a little closer to each other, especially if you have knee issues. Bring them together. And then squat, send your hips back. Gaze down and make sure you can see your toes. Maybe try and touch the floor with your fingertips. This is how low it's supposed to be, so then you can lift your arms up. However, if this is too much, if this is too low, instead of a chair, it can be a bar stool, so you can lift your hips up a little higher. Again, arms up. From here, take a big inhale. Straighten your legs with exhale, bend forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back into downward dog. Chaturanga. Upward dog. And downward dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, bring your right foot forward between your feet, between your hands. Spin the left foot and rise up into warrior one. So your hips and shoulders are squared to the front. The right knee is above the ankle and the right thigh is parallel-ish to the floor. Again, listen to your body. If you need some props, modifications, you can do that. Maybe not sinking the hips too low if you're not there yet. Again, square the hips and shoulders to the front. Turning the left hip in, arms up. This is our warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the floor, downward dog. Inhale, left leg up. And left between your feet, your hands. Spin the right foot, warrior one again, rise up. Left knee above the ankle. Square the hips and shoulders to the front. Exhale, hands to the floor. Downward dog. Chaturanga, shift forward to high plank. Bend your elbows. Your shoulders should not be lower than your elbows. And then upward dog. And downward dog. When you're in chaturanga or that low push-up position, you can always modify it by lowering the knees to the floor. And inhale, look out. Step or hop forward. Come back into half lift. Bend with exhale. And with inhale, come back into chair pose. Lift your arms up. Squat, send your hips back. Make sure you can see your toes. Inhale, rise up and bring your hands to the chest. This was our sun salutation B. And right now I'm going to show you how to practice sun salutation A in a different way. So again, we're going to start in Tadasana or mountain pose on the top of our mat. Hands to the prayer, to the heart center. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, bend forward. Inhale, look out, halfway lift. Then step back with your left leg. Bend your, lower your knee, point your toes, lift your arms up. Maybe go for a back bend. Exhale, bring your hands to the floor. Bring your knees together. Tuck your toes and lower down your chest to the floor. Your chin, chest, knees and toes on the floor. Keep your hips up. This is instead of chaturanga, I'm going to practice this pose and this flow. With inhale, slide forward and come into cobra, baby cobra, upward dog, whatever feels good. Then tuck your toes under, come into downward dog. We cannot do it without down dog. Inhale, look out. Step forward, flat back, fold with exhale. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to the chest. And it was one half of the flow. On another, in the second part, we're gonna do the same flow but on the other leg. So again, Tadasana, mountain pose, hands into prayer next to your chest. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Flat back. Step back this time with your right leg. Lower your right knee, point the toes. Inhale, arms up, lower your hips. Keep your left knee over the left ankle. And exhale, hands to the floor on either sides of your foot. Then bring your knees together. Tuck your toes under, lower your chest and chin to the floor. Keep your hips elevated. Slide forward, up dog, cobra, baby cobra. Again, maybe tuck your toes under if they're not already tucked, and come into downward facing dog. Stay here, maybe micro bend your knees if you need it. Make sure that you are present with the knuckles and your index fingers are parallel to each other. Tuck your chin to the chest. Inhale, look out, step or hop forward. Flat back, fold with exhale, rise up with inhale. Hands to the chest. This was our sun salutation, A with a little different variations, so you can choose either one that works for you. Now from here, we're gonna reach our arms forward. Keep your feet together And slowly begin to bend your knees and lower your hips. Gaze to the right middle finger. If it's possible, keep your heels on the floor. Then maybe if you're still looking for more, give yourself a hug, give your knees a hug. Maybe if you're still looking for more, gaze up. And exhale, release. Bring your sitting bones down to the floor. And come into a butterfly pose or Baddha Konasana. So keep the soles of your feet together. Slide your hips forward. Sit nice and tall. Maybe sit on the block if you want to. Maybe you can hold your ankles. Maybe you can grab your big toes with your peace fingers. The idea here is to sit nice and tall and to open up your hips. So your chest is open, your spine is erect. And from here begin to butterfly. Butterfly your legs. Breathing through the inner thighs. Breathing through the hips. Maybe a little faster. Feel that warmth arising in the hip area. This pose is especially beneficial for our reproductive system, for both men and women. And if you're a woman and you're struggling with cramps during your days, you can practice this pose. Slow that down. Now bring your elbows to your thighs and begin to bend forward. First with your spine straight, and when you reach your edge, then round your back and let your head drop. So again, the neck is relaxed, the head is heavy. Breathe and send your exhalation to the inner thighs so you can release that tension and leave it to the floor. Visualize the color of your tension. Visualize how it's leaving your body. Your body is becoming lighter and more flexible and healthier. Maybe go a little further, a little deeper. Breathe in here. Now with inhale, slowly begin to rise up. Maybe use your hands to bring the knees together. And find your way into a bridge pose. So we want to bring our back to the yoga mat. Feet are hip distance apart. Feet should be as close to your hips as your fingers. So you can touch your heels with your index or middle fingers. Again, knees and feet are hip distance apart. If you want to, you can use a block and place it between your knees, so you're not gonna injure your knees by opening them too wide, not stressing them too much. So tuck your shoulders in, squeeze the shoulder blades together, then push your hips up. Squeeze your front core, your glutes, feel the quads. Keep opening the chest, pushing the hips up. Again, make sure you can touch your heels with the index fingers. Elongating through the neck. Breathing. You can practice supported bridge pose by placing one of your blocks underneath your sacrum. Remember that your block has 3 heights. It's low, medium, and high. So you can use either one. Take a big inhale here. And with exhale, lower your mid, then lower back and sacrum. Bring your knees to the chest, give them a hug. After each pose, we usually practice a counter pose to eliminate the side effects, the unwanted side effects. So bridge pose is a back bend pose, and it might be very intense for your lower back, so we want to practice the opposite. Instead of bending, we want to round our back, like in this pose when we're hugging our knees. And from here, we're gonna come into a happy baby pose. Bend your knees, grab either your shins or the edges, outer edges of your feet, and open up your hips, your feet, pulling the knees towards the armpits, towards the floor. Maybe here again, rock side to side if that feels good. This principle should be the guide in your practice. Practice whatever feels good. Of course, a little discomfort is fine, like bridge pose or butterfly pose. They're not 100% comfortable, but you're not injuring yourself. You're not going too far. Slow that down. Bring your legs together. Press your heels up. Lift your arms to the sky. This is the final pose. Take a big inhale. And with exhale, release. Come into Shavasana, where we started from. Let your knees and ankles drop to the sides. Create a little bit more space between your torso and your arms. Try to relax your body. Again, allow your eyes to close if this is comfortable with you. Relax your toes and your ankles. Relax your calves and shins. Relax your knees and thighs. Relax your glutes and pelvic area. Your lower back and your belly. Your fingers and wrists. Relax your forearms, your elbows and shoulders. Your mid and upper back. Your chest and your collarbones. Relax your neck and throat. Relax your jaw. Again, let your tongue sink to the bottom. Relaxing your facial muscles, your eyes, the spot between your eyebrows, your forehead, your scalp, and finally the crown of your head. Your entire body is completely relaxed, and your mind is at ease. Shavasana is the most essential part of our practice, and the beginning of the class is simply preparation for this final relaxation. We usually practice Shavasana for 5 to 10 minutes, so you can stay here as long as it's serving you. If thoughts are coming, try to not be distracted by them and simply keep breathing. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.